Hi, I'm Amber. Welcome to GladrapChannel.
It is sponsored by DJ Electrical. Introducing first, making his way to the blue corner. Give it up for Hilton Underwood.
Welcome everybody here watching tonight for the Red Line Fight Night. We are at the Auckland ABA Stadium on the 12th of November. Here on this Red Line card, I'm joined by Super Welterweight champ, Mr. Business, Shay Brock himself. Welcome.
Thanks for having me here, Isaac. Awesome night of fights we've seen thus far. Definitely something in the water, something in the air tonight.
I certainly agree with you, and this is gonna be an absolute banger. We've got Hilton Underwood in the blue and Kayne Conlan, no stranger to danger at all. He's a formidable fighter, kickboxer, giving boxing a go tonight. I always love seeing cross codes and hybrid fighting styles tonight. What about you, Shay?
Yeah, definitely couldn't have said it better. I mean, obviously you always bring a different flavour to the ring. So
we've seen the likes of Chopper Chapman, John Wayne Parr, and other kickboxers jump over to boxing. Israel
he was
Adesanya.
very successful.
Even Brad Riddell gave boxing a shot, and they do
awesome
it
as
well.
Yeah.
For 4 3-minute rounds of professional welterweight boxing action, it is sponsored by DJ Electrical. Introducing first,
Aaron Boys there from Strikeforce in the corner, legend in his own right. Many fights, famous for taking 2 fights within 24 hours.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Hilton Underwood. And his opponent making his debut here tonight enters the ring with silver, black, and red trunks, weighing in at 65.45 kgs. This is Kayne Conlan.
There he is, Kayne Conlan representing Strikeforce. Must be a little bit strange for him wearing the shoes and keeping his feet on the ground tonight. That's going to be the most important thing for this fight, Shay.
Yeah, I've always been curious about that. How does it feel going from bare feet to having to wear these boots and having to restrict yourself from wanting to kick somebody, especially when it's your natural instinct.
You'll see that tonight, and I was talking to Kerry earlier when they're doing a bit of sparring. He said at times Kayne was lifting his foot, but hey, it's only normal for a kickboxer, because when you get into the corner, you do crunch up, you do lift your leg in case you get a kick, but obviously that's not going to happen tonight. Well, we hope not anyway. I don't think any kicks are going to be thrown, right, Shay?
Well, it's just in the case of first-time fighters that tend to look away when they're getting pressure put on. It's just the same with kickboxing. When they get the pressure put on, they revert to lifting the knees as their safety mechanism.
See Hilton now wearing some MMA shorts himself, obviously coming from that kind of background as well. Not sure about his experience or fight record, but he's obviously had a few fights to jump in there with Kayne.
Quite a wide stance as well.
That's what you see from these kickboxers, right? Opposed to a boxer, they're not going to move as many angles. They're going to stay quite flat-footed. Obviously, I'm trying to see their feet now with the weight not distributed the same as usual.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
Very flat-footed, very straightforward standing, opposed to a boxer like yourself, a bit more of an angle working that ring.
And I suspect Hilton has a bit of MMA experience, because it looks like, it almost looks like he's ready to defend a takedown, the way his stance is so wide, yet the way he's balanced his weight.
And one thing we'll see with these fighters tonight, because obviously they're not boxers or from boxing backgrounds, you'll just see aggression and straight
nice
mongrel in the way they walk forward and take shots.
Yep.
It's almost one comes forward, the other comes forward. You won't see too many angles, possibly, unlike the fight with Denouchi, 1, 2, and an out right.
Well, it's just a whole different style of fighting as well. Once you take away these other weapons that they're used to using, all of a sudden you know, you start asking the question, well, then what do I do with these ones that I'm left with?
Exactly.
And that's ultimately that's the difference between somebody who has been, you know, has the experience boxing, years of experience, opposed to somebody who is familiar with the ring, familiar with you know, other styles of fighting, but they have the restrictions put on them. So now,
Beautiful shots from Kayne. And hey, and speaking from experience, it's actually harder boxing, in my opinion. You know, people go, oh, getting kicked, knees or elbows. Boxing is very challenging. The fact that you're just going for the head and the body, and the punches are so much more powerful and precise.
I can't say too much because I tried sparring kickboxing one time. I got an absolute hiding. I'd never do it ever again. So I can't say which one's easier or which one's harder because, you know, I've been doing boxing for so long. So it is what it is.
Hey, and that's why it's always interesting to see guys cross jump. And tonight we're seeing a bit more of a composed fight, but still a lot of action because both these guys have got a bit of experience.
And Kayne Conlan there looking a little more comfortable, landing better shots, coming forward a little bit more than Hilton Underwood here. So
You talked about grit earlier, and you know both these guys have certainly got it. It's not a wild slugfest as some of the other fights, but it's because these guys are quite experienced, and any punch can end it.
Well, they're like I said, they're familiar with the ring, they're familiar with their surroundings. It's just this new style that they're going to have to adopt. You know, what do? I just got my hands, I just got my feet can only move me. What do I do now? What's the tactics? And I think that's the big thing, tactics and strategies.
Well, we saw it back in the day. You know, you've seen K1 when a boxer at times would go into kickboxing, they hated getting the kicks, but their punches were so much more powerful than, you know, those K1 fighters. And tonight we're seeing a couple of MMA fighters or kickboxers giving a go at boxing.
And it's only going to be beneficial for both guys, you know, crossing back over to their respective sports, taking what they've learned from here.
I bet and I guarantee that Kayne would love to unleash a kick, but he's doing everything in his power and will not to do that tonight.
I could sense that as well. You can see the leg jumping up and down. What a right hand cross straight to the jaw.
The interesting thing, in watching this fight is Kayne's land. It looks like Kayne to be landing more shots, but his face is more damaged than Hilton's.
Oh, damn, you got a good point there.
So what is that saying? Is every shot that Hilton lands quite precise, and the shots from Kayne are not as damaging?
It could be a number of things. I mean, you can see the ones from Kayne seem a lot more effective. It could be just the skin type or something like non-related to boxing.
And saying that, look at Dylan before. He looked a lot worse for wear than T-Rex, but he came away with the win. So, beautiful body shot there from Hilton Underwood. He's sort of ducking and dodging. Kayne is certainly the aggressor in this fight, though. He's walking forward, controlling the fight.
He's controlling it, yeah. He definitely has control of everything, of the fight, of the ring. He's putting it right where he wants them and timing his shots well.
Interesting though, from obviously you're a boxer, and you can see that it's one forward, go back. So, bit of a throw around there from both boys. Kayne unleashing. Look at that body shot, but now Hilton saying, "No, I'm going to give you some back." Oh. God, I love the aggression.
You can almost sense that when he grabs his neck, he wants to bring the knee up as well.
Oh, look, beautiful performance tonight, showing so much control.
But what do you do as a cross-code fighter once you do fall into, what's working? What happens when that's not working? It must get frustrating when you know. You could be kicking them, you could be taking them to ground, you could be doing all this other stuff.
Look at Conor McGregor Mayweather. He, first pro debut fight, jumped in with one of the world's greatest and went some of the distance.
went a long way.
Oh, big right there
beautiful
from Kayne. Backing him into the corner. He can sense blood. Oh, Hilton Underwood not giving up. Jeez, how tough is Underwood?
He looked a little worse for wear there, and then, well, he just came straight back. It's almost playing possum the way that he sat on the ropes looking like he was done, and he came straight back with the punches. Time the mess come in.
You know what I'd love to see with these two guys, and I know you're going to say this too. After this, whatever way it goes, they should have a fight in their own code as well, or the code that they're quite used to, kickboxing. And saying that, Hilton Underwood looks like an MMA fighter. So what? All 3 fights?
Could do.
Sensational though. Debut for both boys.
It'll definitely grow for a good grudge match, between the two. Especially if we cross through all 3. Best of 3.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. And I'm loving this display tonight because, like you said, you can sense that sometimes you might want to bring the knee up, a kick, or even an elbow. But obviously we can't. They can't use the 6 other limbs. They only have to use the 2.
Yep.
And this is the money run, as they say. I mean, both boys have been thrown down. Kayne's certainly the aggressor. Grabs that cup at the start of the round, typical kickboxing move. Big right-handed there from Underwood.
Underwood looking a little bit more aggressive, maybe getting a little bit of desperation, for this final round that he...
Look at that wide stance there of Underwood. It's not a boxing stance. It's simply almost a sprawl wrestler.
Definitely, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking, Isaac. He's ready to defend a takedown, sprawl on top of his opponent.
Big right there from Kayne.
Oh, beautiful shots landed. Good chin shown by both boys. They've been landing some good shots, but taking it like champs.
Big shot there landed from Kayne. Oh, again.
And again.
Beautiful shot.
He's going to work now. Kayne's going to work. And he needs to.
Gotta love the aggression from both fighters. Look at Underwood putting the jab out there and then throwing a crazy looping overhand right.
Well, he just needed to get out of that corner.
Kayne's starting to find his timing and rhythm. Definitely been the aggressor in this fight and transitioned quite nicely.
Nice, yeah. Can there be more, would you, there, Isaac?
Oh, big right there. Hey, but every shot he throws at Underwood takes it.
He does.
It doesn't get, I've even seen him get wobbled.
Well, that's the thing. He looks hurt, but then he doesn't act hurt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Look, he takes a shot and just walks forward. He just... Look, everyone tonight is... Oh, big lefty there from Underwood.
Ooh, body shot as well.
Oh, these guys are just throwing down.
He's starting to find home there for that right hand, no? And
Kayne absorbs it, acknowledges, and comes forward like an absolute soldier. Oh!
That's one thing you don't see from the kickboxers. Those cross codes is the body shots.
Exactly. Yeah, good point there, Shay. I mean, they just go straight to the head, and
I mean, I'd suspect that a body shot would be quite dangerous to attempt in a kickboxing fight.
I think because they're computing and they're trying to stop so many moves from happening that they don't look at those certain angles, so they're just going for the head and walking forward in and out. And not trying to throw the kicks at the same time, because that's what we're trained to do.
Yeah. So you got to out-train these typical habits that are typically what you want to be doing, and then
everything you've been trained, you're not allowed to do in this fight. So,
exactly.
Hey, great display there from both these fighters. I want to see a few more rounds of them. I want to see them cross code or have a kickboxing match or maybe something else. That was an incredible fight.
But you can tell, despite both boys being on their debuts and not having the boxing experience, that they are seasoned fighters. They're acting exactly like seasoned fighters. They get caught. They don't let it overwhelm them. they just take it on the chin, and then they come back with, you know, a combination of their own.
And my apologies, because I thought, looking at the other fights, that was going to be a 3-rounder, but it's actually one more round to go, because this is a pro fight. And these guys have got one more to go. Who's got more in the gas tank? I'm stoked this is going one more round. Who wants it? Who's going to dig deep? I mean,
Exactly.
Underwood keeps getting bashed, shots, but comes
Underwood
forward.
really needs to show something in this last round, and I think after that last round he came out strong, but he just needs to hold on to that same the same pressure that he's building, the same momentum. Back to that wide stance.
Underwood in the red and white shorts, the black boots. Kayne Conlan in the Strike Force tie shorts and red Nike boxing shoes. Obviously, both
Hilton
boys
going for the
cross-jumping.
body shots this round. We were just talking last round about, you know, Crosscode's not going for the body shots. He's starting with the
It's like
body
they
now.
heard you, and they've taken a ball and they're just going for the body now. That's all it's been.
And that's the other thing about, you know, how I was saying they don't go for the body.
Oh!
Much. It's quite a skill to be able to pull off those body shots, as you know. So if you're not used to throwing them, then it's going to be hard to land them as well.
And look at this, you see a bit more clinching and body work, because that's what they're quite used to. Look, you see them clinch and then push them away. Look.
Good head movement there too by Hilton.
And I bet Kayne just wants to throw the knee, the elbow, but he can't.
Yes,
He's using
yes,
everything
yes.
in his will to control himself and just throw punches, and he's doing a great job of that.
And how do you block that out? Block out those instincts.
Well, that's the thing. That's what makes it 6 times as hard as
Exactly.
just throwing 2 limbs instead of 8. John Conway doing a great job here tonight. Former kickboxer himself, so he knows what it's like.
Oh, nice little
Nice
check hook
shots
as
from
he went
Underwood.
backwards. He's definitely having the spots there, Hilton Underwood, but
You know, obviously Kayne's aggressive, but Underwood's just a guy that's made of steel. He's one of those guys that you don't like to fight, because you throw everything but the kitchen sink at him and he still doesn't go down.
I think that's what Kayne's going to have to pull out the kitchen sink from somewhere and land a good shot.
Oh,
'Cause
just
he's
as
just
you
not
said
going
that.
down. He's just not going down. He's fighting back. He's a true fighter.
Pushing away again. 1, 2. Oh, beautiful.
Beauty
left up.
shot. But one punch isn't going to do it.
Oh.
He's holding on now.
Look, he almost wanted to do something else, but a punch there. Look at him. Says, come on, let's go.
Come on, let's go. One punch isn't going to do it. He's going to have to string a good combination here to put this boy away.
What a fight this has been. Look at Kayne, he's coming forward. Look, claps those gloves together. Come on, let's go, he says. Bring it. 10
Another
seconds.
beautiful jab, stiff jab down the middle. Hilton Underwood. He's not backing down from anybody.
What is this guy made of? He's an absolute solid piece of steel. That was a great fight from both fighters.
Awesome fight.
Here we go. I mean, look, I don't like to call the decision. I always like it to go to the judges first. Kayne was, look at him, he's throwing kicks in the corner. He wanted to. And you can see it in his body movements.
Yeah, he's letting out that frustration now in the corner. He's like, I just wanted to, and I wanted to. So maybe we would see a kickboxing fight or a MMA rematch with these two.
I would love to see that. What a fight that was. It's always great to see
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4
code
rounds
jumpers
of
and
welterweight boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision.
cross jumpers like tonight.
Your winner fighting out of the red corner, Kayne Conlan.
Oh, look, I certainly agree with that decision. Underwood showed so much grit, determination, but Kayne was the aggressor, came forward and put enough on the books tonight to take away the win.
and it would make for an interesting rematch in another code as well, because there's so many unanswered questions. What if I threw the kick? What if I took him down? What if I did this? You know, we're left with only the hands, so it'll make for a good fight, a rematch in another code. I'd love to see it as well.
Oh, likewise, I mean, if we get to chat to him later, we'll talk to him about that fight, the body movements, the willpower he had to display and control tonight, because he could only use 2 limbs when he's used to using 8.